TMZ Live, Harvey Levin here.
And I'm Elex Michaelson.
And I am so glad Elex is here. Elex is the anchor at the Fox station in Los Angeles, and he knows a lot, folks. So we're going to get into it. Cardi B has filed for divorce. She's not talking about it. She's actually done it. And we know why. So we have told you that, there were these rumors going around about maybe Offset was cheating again because of this photo that came out the other day. Turns out the photo has nothing to do with this. It is as simple as two of them have just grown apart. They have gone in different directions. And as it was put to us, this was a long time in coming.
Yeah.
A long time in coming.
And there's been rumors about this for a long time as well. And this isn't the only big news from Cardi B coming out today.
Well, we're going to get into the second part. Well, we might as well get into it now.
Yeah.
She's pregnant, which does complicate things, right, in the middle of a divorce.
Right.
But she is pregnant. And she kind of talked about this kind of bookend thing where the marriage is ending, but she's having a baby. And here's what she said.
She said, with every ending comes a new beginning. This is Cardi essentially talking to her baby with an Instagram caption, saying, I'm so grateful to have shared this season with you. You have brought me more love, more life, and most of all, renewed my power. I love you so much and cannot wait for you to witness what you helped me accomplish, what you pushed me to do. Now, this would, Cardi has two other kids as well, and this would be her third child. And they've been kind of quiet about this whole thing, pretending like she wasn't pregnant.
Not just quiet, but we got these pictures that we put up early this morning before the pregnancy announcement. This is on the streets of New York City.
Right.
Cardi B, if you take a quick, close look there, yeah, you can kind of connect the dots.
Stomach is out.
Stomach is out. If you notice in the wider shot, there were umbrellas that were shielding her. But it's so weird because this was on the streets, the crowded streets in New York City.
And by the way, this is kind of what Harvey does when he goes out on the streets. He has 5 people with umbrellas.
That's exactly what
hiding him from the public. Can you imagine if this is your get-out going out?
That's crazy. I think
just walk with a traveling crew of people holding umbrellas.
Right, because she has to get to a car or something.
But if you're trying to hide the pregnancy, why have the shirt open? I mean, there are other outfits that you could wear. You're trying to hide that.
Here's what I think. I think my recon is she's doing a big magazine shoot. This could be for Vogue, but she's doing some kind of a magazine shoot. And maybe they were going to announce it online with a magazine. I don't know, but she decided to do it today. And by the way, in the divorce, she is asking for primary custody, not just of the 2 children, but presumably the child that's about to be born. It is amicable, we're told. And they have talked about, let's play this, because back in December, Cardi gave a big clue about the state of the marriage. And what it turns out, what we're finding out now, what she said back then was the beginning of the end.
Career-wise, financially, and personal life, I know where I want to be at next year. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to get rid of that weight. When it comes to people, we always want to protect their feelings. We always want to protect their image. We just want to protect people. Like, how would they feel, or how would life without me will be for them? That.
This is no surprise if you've been following Cardi and Offset's relationship. It's been tumultuous for quite some time. Like you said, we just played the sound from her back in December, and she basically was telling Offset she's got to protect herself and she has to leave this relationship. So to see that she's finally filed now, it's actually a little surprising that it took this long, but I think maybe because she did know she was pregnant, and in those photos, she looks like pretty far along, and even in her announcement, she looks pretty far along. So it seems like maybe the pregnancy is what kept her around for so long, and maybe she was on the fence. Do I actually leave this guy? He's the father of my 3 children. Do I try to stay and make it work? And then on the heels of this photo, even though she's claiming that the photos have nothing to do with it, I'm referring to the photo of Offset with the woman he had prior been linked to cheating with Cardi with, was just the end of the straw. I don't care if he wasn't doing it. He shouldn't have been photographed with her to begin with. And I feel like with Cardi being pregnant, she's stressed out. She's hormonal. She sees this and she just says, you know what? I'm done. Enough is enough. I have to put myself and now my 3 kids first.
I will say this, though. I was on the phone with people who are kind of in the middle of all of this last night, and what we were told is that this has nothing to do with cheating or the other woman, that this has been going on for months and months and months. They tried to save it. They worked on it, but they've just grown further and further apart. So,
what do you read into the caption that she posted online, essentially saying this baby is helping her to push her to set her free?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Hello, I'm Harry from London. I think that Cardi has given Offset many chances over the years, and I actually feel like Offset sees Cardi as quite like a threat. She's like a huge artist, a lot bigger than he is, so maybe she just sees him as a threat.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably all of that. It's probably all of that. I mean, remember, by the way, she filed a couple of years ago, and then withdrew the divorce. We're told this time that ain't going to happen. At least that's what they say.
That's what they say now, but they also said yesterday that she wasn't pregnant, so things can change.
That's true, too.
Pretty quickly. True, too. We just feel for the kids involved in all this as well.
Yeah, I know. And but it sounds like, you know what, it does sound like that. I believe them when we're told that it's amicable, so we'll see. I'm so excited about this.
This is a big story, big scoop.
I am so excited about this. I've known about this basically for a fairly long time, but we are now ready to talk about it, and this is so cool. The closing ceremonies of the Paris Olympics are going to be amazing, and at the center of it is Tom Cruise. It is Tom Cruise, and the plan is that he is going to rappel down the stadium walls onto the stadium floor, and holding the Olympic flag. That's just the beginning, and that's going to happen live.
Yeah, Harvey, this is absolutely awesome. So, like you said, he rappels down, he's on this famous field, and then they cut to this pre-recorded short movie. I don't know what else to call it. I mean,
it's like a 5-minute movie.
Right. It sounds absolutely awesome. And the premise is essentially that, through Tom Cruise, they're passing the torch from the Paris Olympics to the 2028 games, which are obviously going down in Los Angeles. Now, what's going to happen is you're essentially going to have Tom Cruise parachuting from an airplane down to the famed Hollywood sign in Los Angeles. Again, this has all previously been pre-recorded. Now, as you know, Harvey, this was something that happened back in March. We had photos of Tom Cruise literally clinging to one of the letters on the Hollywood sign, but nobody got any images of him actually doing the parachuting. And we know he's a very accomplished skydiver.
But we should say that this happened on a Saturday morning. And the Hollywood sign is something that people love to go up to see or get close to. And what we're told is the people from the Olympic Committee thought, we're never going to pull this off where nobody's going to know that Tom Cruise is parachuting onto the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and they had cameras on the whole thing.
And nobody knew until you just ruined the surprise for everybody.
Well, we're creating the excitement for everybody.
Anticipation.
We're creating the excitement.
You think about this, but remember back in 2012 at the opening games, right? There was that great sketch with Daniel Craig playing James Bond.
Right.
Going to the actual Queen of England, and this sort of fake moment of her parachuting down with the British flag. But this, you got the real deal. Mission Impossible is doing, because we know Tom Cruise does his own stunts.
He does his own stunts. So what this film is going to show, Tom Cruise parachuting right next to the Hollywood sign. Then he scales it. He has the Olympic flag. She passes it to an athlete, and then the athlete starts running around Los Angeles and passing it from athlete to athlete. And they're going to have all sorts of different athletes, skateboarders, volleyball players, and all. And Tom Cruise, we're told, is the one who went to the Olympic Committee and said, I want to do this. He's so game to do this.
And we've seen him all over Paris in this last week. And as usual, very gracious to the fans, taking time for selfies with everybody, signing a lot of autographs. There he is in the stands as well. He's kind of been omnipresent in this whole Paris thing. And now it makes more sense that he's going to be at the heart of this whole closing ceremonies. And what a coup for Los Angeles. And what a great rollout for Los Angeles as the big moment to have the biggest movie star in the world be the face of the game.
It's a big deal. Now, one asterisk here. We are told that it is very complicated to do this rappelling down, and there's some competition at the same stadium at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is happening a little bit later in the evening, so they're still trying to work this out, and they want to make sure it's safe. And there is a thought that they might use a stunt double, although Tom Cruise doesn't like that. He likes doing it himself.
Right.
So that little asterisk is there. But I know the plan is for Tom to do that, cut to the videotape, and it's really going to be awesome.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Hi, I'm Rosalind. I'm from Montreal. I have to say, I love that Tom Cruise is representing for us 60-year-olds, and he's in such fantastic shape that he can do this. And, he's aging like fine wine. But it kind of got me thinking, does he need to drum up a little support for Dead Reckoning? Because, that movie didn't really do that well at the box office. It sounds very Mission Impossible to me.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, boy, this is his
wheelhouse?
lane. Yes, absolutely. So I got to tell you,
big week.
Why did Donald Trump go to the National Association of Black Journalists?
There's a reason.
We've seen the fireworks there. Why did he go in the first place? Because he had to know what he was going to hear. We're going to have a great journalist, and we're going to try to break this down when we come back. Welcome back to TMZ Live. So, you probably saw the fireworks yesterday with Donald Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists. It was explosive. Donald Trump ended it halfway through, and there was a lot of shock when Donald Trump went after Kamala Harris's racial identity.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman.
I respect either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
So, of course, Kamala Harris's father is Jamaican. Her mother is Indian. She went to a historically black college. She was a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, and she has identified as a black woman for her entire life.
Yep. So Kamala Harris addressed it in a very interesting way.
Trump spoke at the annual meeting of the National Association of Black Journalists. And it was the same old show. The divisiveness and the disrespect. We deserve a leader who understands that our differences do not divide us. They are an essential source of our strength.
She didn't make it personal to her. I thought that was really interesting because she could have done that, but she decided to go broader than that.
And it's interesting that a lot of Republicans are trying to stay away from this issue.
Oh, yeah.
Basically saying stick to the script of the border and other issues. Don't make this a thing about racial identity. But Donald Trump doubling down on it today, posting on Truth Social a picture of Kamala Harris with her Indian relatives, reminding folks that she's Indian. She never pretended that she's not Indian. She's just both. There's a lot of people in this country that are biracial that have multiple family identities. Her mother there, Shamala, and her other family members. And so it's clearly, Harvey, this is a strategy. This wasn't just something that came off the top of his head. And it's something that he's leaning into.
And that's the point. That, if people think he just walked into a buzzsaw, there's a reason he did it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to bring in one of my favorite people. White House correspondent April Ryan from the Griot. She has covered Trump. She has followed this. She has expressed outrage on social media, and she's joining us right now. April, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thank you, Harvey. Thank you so much. Yes, I've expressed outrage. This is ridiculous. You know what, Harvey and Elex, this is going back to birtherism in a different way. He questioned if Barack Obama was even born in the United States. Now Kamala Harris is not even black. She turned black all of a sudden. She is always identified as Southeast Asian and a black woman. She cannot walk away from her Jamaican father's heritage and her Southeast Asian mother's heritage. End of story. And, she identifies as Black, even going into the Congressional Black Caucus. You don't have to go in, but she chose to go into the Congressional Black Caucus, identifying as Black. She also went to Howard University, as you said, and pledged a Black sorority, the first Black sorority, Greek letter sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, a sorority incorporated. So she identifies as Black, but she also remembers that Southeast Asian heritage. She comes from two wonderful cultures. End of story.
April, I know you were frustrated that NABJ invited Trump in the first place. And there are folks there that say, look, he got asked tough questions by smart journalists. They made news. They revealed things about Trump and the way that he thinks. And it's the role of NABJ to question presidential candidates. They've been doing it for decades. So why not give journalists an opportunity to question somebody who could become the president? What do you say?
Here's the problem I have with the NABJ. The NABJ that named me Journalist of the Year in 2017 because I stood against Trump. This is my issue. If you're an advocacy group and you said in 2018 you were appalled by his behavior of these three Black women, April Ryan, Abby Phillip, and Yamiche Alcindor, why now? What has changed? Why do we allow somebody who has gone after Black journalists, and we know it, to come into our house and insult us yet again? You're an advocacy group. You weren't advocating for us. What was it, to pop your collar? I still disagree, and I think the leadership needs to. They haven't even put out a statement about how he denigrated the journalist on the stage. What happened? Why was it late? There's a lot of transparency that still needs to happen to this, about this appearance of Donald Trump.
What I want to ask you, and this is what I really wanted to get to, because I just think you have such a good perspective on things. Why did he go? He had to know he was going to get this reception. He had to know that. People clearly would have told him that. Yep. So there's got to be some strategy behind it. I'm wondering if you've thought about what that is, because he does have a lot of support in the country. What I'm wondering is, does he think that support is going to be well received? Those supporters will receive this well? What's the strategy behind him going to this?
Oh, those who support him loved it. He went into the frying pan and told them what to do and got out without being scorched. He actually scorched other people. He made his supporters like, yes, he did it. Yeah. But for those who are on the fence, you saw who he was. You've seen this movie, as I said before. For those who are not supporters, are more so inclined to say, this is not what I want. But this was for those who want Project 2025. This is for those who wanted him to put it to Black people, or thinking that, how dare you ask this man, this great man, these questions. He did exactly what he came to do. He went into the lion's den and he came out a victor in his mind.
And so when Trump was running against Biden, some of the polls seemed to indicate that Black men some of them were starting to break for him in a higher number than we've seen before, the majority still with Biden. Now that Harris is the nominee and you see things like what Trump just did this week, does that change?
Yes, because they see who he is. You cannot negate being a Black person and this man coming in disrespecting your own home. Even though you may not be a journalist, you're still Black. And he did this to your queen, to your queens, He was bigoted in his approach. He talked about Kamala Harris. He stripped down verbally a Black journalist who wanted answers to real questions. If you actually are a person of color and watch this and say, oh, yeah, that's my guy, you have to really take a second thought at who that person is and why.
I'm wondering if Donald Trump does get elected, you really went through it during his first term. Will you cover him in the White House if he is elected?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I didn't do anything wrong. I have asked questions of 5 American presidents, and everything comes to the White House, from war to peace and everything in between. And here's the deal. I am 27 years in. I am not going to let someone who doesn't like the questions deter me from doing my job. I'm the longest White House correspondent in history, poised to be the longest serving Black person ever serving Donald Trump is not going to stop me.
I had a feeling that was the answer.
You know me.
I do know you. April, we love having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we've got to take a break. When we come back, Pete Davidson is going back into a mental health facility for some help. And he's being very open about it. Turns out he is not alone. We're going to tell you about other celebrities who are really struggling right now and why they are suddenly being so open.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Charles looks very different today.
He does indeed.
Elex Michaelson with Harvey Levin here. We're talking now about Pete Davidson, who we know for years has struggled with mental health issues, and news that he has now entered a wellness facility to focus on his mental health. We don't know exactly where he is or how long he's going to be there. We do know that his upcoming comedy shows were canceled. 8 shows scheduled over the next 3 months, now not happening. He's been working a lot over the last year, done 200 stand-up gigs, lots of movie projects. He's got a Netflix comedy special, but apparently he needed a bit of a break to focus on his mental health. And he's been very open about that over the years, his challenges when it comes to that.
He has. And again, not the first time he's been to a mental health facility. I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago, maybe it's 6 months ago, when he got that little dog with his then girlfriend and people started attacking him that he didn't get a rescue. And it really affected him. And he actually went in for treatment then. So he's kind of been through it. Turns out he's not the only one who's been through it. There are a slew of celebrities who are talking about it out loud right now.
Yeah, including Camila Cabello, who is posting on her Instagram about her own mental health. This is what she said. I try my best to show up for my friends, my fans, and the people who show up for me, but it's hard to pour from what feels like an empty cup. So be right back while I get some bandages and warm honey and stitches for this head and heart, with a picture of her clearly looking like she's not having her best day of all time as well.
Now, there's another person who posted something trying to show support for somebody who is going through it. Jax Taylor is having his own struggles right now. Rachel Leviss decided that she would show some support for him, and a lot of people think this landed like a lead balloon.
Because they're saying that she made it more about herself. So this is what she said. I'm deeply saddened to hear of Jax's mental health struggles, and I wholeheartedly support his decision to seek treatment. Now, here's the next part that some people have a problem with. I pray that his news is met with the open-mindedness that mine lacked, as I faced mockery and accusations of simply being in a spa. I hope he finds the healing that I did through my journey.
She's obviously referring to the huge scandal, the scandal vol, and a lot of people did really come for Raquel, basically saying, like, you know, that she was this girl that was cheating, and, you know, she did this to her best friend, and people didn't care that she was getting bombarded with all these hateful comments. They just wanted to attack while she was trying to work on herself. And I think the theme here, you guys, is just that people are trying to normalize it in Hollywood, that it is okay to not have a great day. It is okay to check in with yourself about your feelings, about your emotions. And Pete Davidson, he said that he checks in with himself from time to time. And like you said, Harvey, he's been, you know, in mental health facilities several times. And he's even come out during comedy shows and joked about it. Like, oh, I got that post-rehab glow. And he's always like still showing a smile on his face and still being positive, but also making it important to still check on your mental health.
Now let's go back to that second page for Rachel, because this is what people are not happy about. If you look at the second page, you see the word I, you see the word mine, you see I a couple more times. And a lot of people are saying online, I'm not saying this because honestly, I mean, she's just drawing from her own experience, but a lot of people are saying she's making it about herself, and that she kind of wants it both ways. She says, I'm leaving Hollywood, I don't want to be part of this anymore, I hate it. But when something happens, she is very quick to jump in and then to reference herself. So a lot of people are saying not necessarily authentic. I think they're wrong.
Or this is her page. So you're going to her page for her perspective.
Yeah.
And this is her authentic experience. Maybe she's talking about it from a place of expertise because she's been through this before.
God, do you think people on social media are actually sometimes too harsh?
Well,
you know?
Or maybe not authentic all the time either.
Maybe not authentic.
In terms of what they do. But it is nice that this next generation is talking about this in a way that previous generations haven't, and you hope that that means that their followers may be able to seek help or talk about these issues in a way that they
No, it's really
before.
good. It's really good. By the way, just one other quick thing. Shawn Mendes, who has been dating Camila Cabello on and off for a long time now, posted something yesterday about the same thing, that he had been going through it and he was thanking his fans. So it's true. I mean, people are way more open about it.
And he talked about the fact that he basically couldn't record music or be in the studio because it was too hard for him for years because of all of his mental health issues. But he's got a new album coming out on my birthday, October 18th.
Wow.
I'm Marcus Bryant, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I feel like Pete Davidson may suffer from the Ariana Grande effect a little bit. I certainly wish him well with his mental health, and it's a big win for him to come out for men out there all over the world to know it's okay to not be okay. But I think that he still may be a tad bit heartbroken from Ariana Grande. Whatever it is that she's serving up, it certainly is delicious because men can't get enough of it.
I will say that he benefited a lot from the Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, I got a problem with this. They are making Britney Spears' memoir into a movie.
Yeah.
That's a whole other dimension. And there are issues in this book that just shock me that will end up on the big screen. And I think there are a lot of people who are going to be really angry.
I think we need a fact checker, maybe?
Yeah. Welcome back to TMZ Live. Harvey and Elex Michaelson here. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, excited to be here for the day.
I am a little shocked at this on a level, but I also get it. There was a bidding war for Britney Spears' memoir, a bidding war with most of the major studios in Hollywood because this book was so popular.
And the idea is, who's going to be able to turn this memoir into a movie about Britney Spears' life? And we've got some news on that front today.
Universal is going to do a movie on this book. And I got to tell you, I think they are in for some real problems here because she skewers pretty much everybody in this book. But there are a lot of people who are saying that not everything in this book is factual by any means.
And you're one of those people.
I am one of those people.
Yeah.
And I think there are landmines here to navigate, and especially because Britney apparently has a lot of creative control over content and over casting.
That's right, guys. We have just spoken to some sources very close to Britney who say that she has full casting control. However, it is very early. This project is very early in the planning stages. There is no casting director attached. There is no writer currently attached to the project. We know that the deal is massive, though. It's in the low 8 figures. We haven't been able to get a specific number yet out of our sources.
What she's going to get.
Right, correct. So this is a massive project for Britney. What's interesting here, though, is obviously we know that from the book, there was so many people from Britney's past that were named in it, mainly Justin Timberlake, Kevin Federline. I just spoke to someone close to Kevin Federline who tells me they were given no heads up on this project. But, you know, if Kevin is painted in maybe a poor light in the project, we might see a response from Kevin. But it seems like Britney kind of is shocking everyone about this project because people that were even once very close to her were not aware this was in the works.
Do you think that there's potential legal liability for Universal if what she's saying are provably untrue and paint these people in a bad light?
Oh, that's absolutely true. That if you republish something that's defamatory, the person publishing it is responsible. That's just the law. But that's going to be the problem here, is that she has her version of events. And if that version doesn't align factually with the people she's going after and it's provable, then Universal's on the hook. So if Universal says, no, we're not going to put this chapter in, but Britney has creative control, you see where that goes.
Right. And in terms of some of her decision making we've seen over the years has not always been the best.
Right.
Who do you think would play her?
Play Britney?
Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't know. Would you want to get that role? Obviously, it'd be a huge movie, but then you have her behind it. You
saying,
know?
do it this way.
There's some good and bad in that.
God.
And guys, the other thing I'm just kind of learning is the fact that this could potentially be a musical, in the fact that the guy that is producing it and directing it, they're both coming off of just worked on Wicked, which is also a musical. So
Brendan, how do they make that book, which you read, into a musical?
I mean, she has such a massive musical catalog.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, if they do her music, I get it, but my God, I mean, just scorching everybody and then singing, oops, I did it again.
Hey, y'all, this is Kimberly in Austin. I think this is a wonderful idea. I think as far as the legalities go, correct me if I'm wrong, Harvey, but I think anybody who is actually roasted in the book, if they're going to sue them, they would have to then go to court and then go through the discovery process, which could be problematic for that particular person. But nevertheless, I mean, I think it's good that she's going to be able to, maybe help to tell her story to a wider audience. And just as a side note, I think Sydney Sweeney would be an amazing pick for casting.
Oh, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
a great call.
Huh. That's actually really interesting. Okay, speaking of legalities, Don Lemon suing Elon Musk. I kind of saw that coming.
Well, you're right. Well, they had this deal to apparently basically amplify Don Lemon's show on X after Don Lemon was fired from CNN, wanted to sort of do this thing in social media, but apparently it wasn't a written contract.
He didn't have a written contract. It's in the lawsuit. It just shocked me. They had some kind of an oral agreement that Don would get $1.5 million a year for doing his show on X, which, by the way, in case you forgot, it blew up because I think this question.
Yeah. Hate speech on the platform is up. Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats? I don't have to answer these questions. The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
You could see as this question was coming out of Don Lemon's mouth that Elon was getting uncomfortable, not going to answer, seething, and he's on his platform. Right. So immediately afterwards, he says, let's cancel this whole show. But now Don is saying, look, you made an oral promise, and you talked about it. A deal this size should probably be in writing, but they are enforceable, oral deals, all the time. Verbal agreements are enforceable. So he's taking him to court and saying, time to collect. You stop the show, and I want what you promised me.
I mean, look, Elon Musk could easily pay this. He lives his life based on his principles, and clearly decided not to pay him because he was pissed off at Don. But Derek's right. I mean, if he can prove this oral agreement, because Don's not going to just do that for free.
Right. But as a lawyer, in terms of paying the how do you prove an oral agreement if there wasn't a recording?
Listen, that's always a problem because, one person's going to give his version and there has to be in the law something called a meeting of the minds. And if a jury ultimately says, well, he was thinking one thing and he was thinking another thing and there's no meeting of the minds, right, Derek? Ain't no deal.
That's no deal. That's why you reduce it to writing, so you don't have these sort of disagreements and you say, this is what we intended. It's harder to do that evidentiarily without a written contract.
Yep. Okay. We are going to take a break. When we come back, there have been problems in the Olympic Village.
Yeah, but then there's another sort of Olympic Village off where the surfers are.
And it may be way more awesome.
Yeah. Tahiti is the place to be.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. So I don't know if you've heard about the Olympic Village, but apparently 5 people have to share one bathroom. They're sleeping on cardboard. It's a little bit janky.
Yeah. Coco Gauff talked about the fact that a lot of her teammates,
they bailed.
All went
They're in hotels.
But she's staying there.
So check this out.
This is better.
This is Tahiti, where the surfers are. And everybody's saying, oh, they're disconnected from the Olympics. It's so sad for them.
900 miles away.
They don't look sad to me at all. That does not look sad to me. They are on a boat They are having a blast. They have a private chef. They have their own bedrooms. They have the best view in the world.
They've got a bar, a dining room, tattoo parlor, ping pong, foosball, and more. And as you pointed out on the website, they have a bed big enough to do whatever you want.
That absolutely
which is not true.
Not true in the Olympic Village.
You're on like cardboard beds that are prohibit you basically from doing whatever you want.
And not only that, Harvey, guys, it's the food. You mentioned it briefly, Harvey, about the private chef and whatnot. In the Olympic Village, they're talking about just vegetables. You know, it's for some reason more of a vegan diet, and a lot of these people need protein and stuff like that. So they're getting fed well too while they're on this boat, and they can have beds and sea breeze and nice days.
Sean Willis, Birmingham, Alabama, and I, for one, am shocked that the people on the tropical retreat on a luxury cruise liner are having a better time than the people who are having to stay in communal living in what was described as sex-proof beds. I'm flabbergasted.
Well, if you're flabbergasted, then I ask you the question. If you were an Olympic athlete, where would you rather be?
Oh, I'll take the private condo on a luxury yacht, please.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you get to hang out in Tahiti, which is also pretty great.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you have not experienced this yet, but it is that time of the week, folks. Tim is here with his Remix.
Wow. This is louder than the Olympic ceremony. Wow.
So, when was the last time you guys went kiteboarding?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Have you ever been kiteboarding?
I've never been kiteboarding.
Well, I'm guessing the last time you went, you didn't jump over a tiny island like this guy. So he's kiteboarding on vacation here, and as you can see, he comes up to this little island, and he does his thing, and he's jumping over the entirety of the island. So pretty cool. And he stays on his board and lands.
Where is that?
Wow.
That's in Mauritius.
Oh my God, that
Wow.
looks so amazing.
Well done.
God, this isn't even funny, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
All right, so Harvey, I know you work out and you swim, but you're a busy man, so why not do both at the same time? So
Are you going to have weights in a pool? Oh,
yeah,
God.
exactly.
Are you
So
kidding
underwater
me?
workout, you can kind of get your cardio in as well as your regular workout. I mean, maybe next time you're at
Tim,
the gym.
is this really a thing?
It really is a thing. I don't know how they do the breath work or anything like that, but people actually do this. So
You could do this.
But it's underwater.
You're in good enough shape to do this.
It's underwater.
Yeah.
So how many, like, what do you do, 10 repetitions and then die?
I don't know about die, but you get a breath of fresh air.
I think we got
you get that in pretty quick.
I think we got to workshop this.
Yeah.
Okay, last one.
All right, so Elex, when was the last time you went kayaking?
A couple of years ago.
Okay, I'm guessing it was in a body of water, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, I say that because it's summertime. Not a lot of people have, water around, so you still want to go kayaking, get it in. So this guy here, he's on his kayak on a dirt little mountain here.
Okay.
And he slides off
God.
and jumps into the tree. So I don't know if you want to try that, but
First of all,
asking for
can you
it.
imagine what your butt feels like after you're done with that?
that wouldn't be good. So.
And secondly, Tim, what happened to this guy?
Yeah.
So he's actually looking for sponsors. So he's fine, I guess. So
What would the sponsorship deal be? By influencer of doing dumb, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, thank you.
Tim, that was great. That was great.
Okay.
This is amazing.
You don't have to clap for him.
The
first of
crowd
all.
goes wild
I know,
here.
But it's all.
It's like we're in the middle of a football stadium.
Mercy
Who
claps.
knew? Yeah.
Mercy claps.
No.
Okay, we're taking a break. When we come back, we broke a big story yesterday. There's a vacancy on American Idol. That vacancy has been filled, and it has been filled by one of the most famous alums in American Idol history. We will reveal it when we come back. Welcome back to TMZ Live. Guess what? Carrie Underwood's coming back to American Idol, not as a contestant, as a judge. She is going to replace Katy Perry. We broke this story yesterday, and that is interesting to me because now, assuming Lionel and Luke come back, they'll have 2 of the 3 judges will be country.
Yeah. And of course, it's a homecoming for Carrie Underwood. If you think about all the people that have won Idol over all the years, I would say the two most successful, Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood, genuine, huge, worldwide, bona fide stars. And so,
and by the way, Kelly Clarkson was on The Voice.
Right, exactly, which was a little bit of a slight to Idol at the time.
Exactly.
So Carrie Underwood now coming back where it all started. We haven't heard that much from her recently, so this will put her right in the middle of the spotlight once again at a time when she's also doing some shows in Las Vegas as a residency there.
This is great for the contestants too, because it's been a minute since Idol really produced a huge superstar. Yep. Carrie might have been the last one, arguably. So now if you're on that stage trying to be a star, you're not just looking at like Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie. You're looking at somebody who stood where you stood, and it's inspirational. Like, you're like, I could be that. I could do that.
I've always wondered this. Who is a bigger music star, Carrie Underwood or Kelly Clarkson?
Probably Kelly. It's such a toss-up because overall, yeah, as a pop star, Kelly's just got a bigger reach. But Carrie Underwood was like the dominant country artist for like a decade. So it's such a toss-up, but I'm going to give the edge to Kelly.
And the way that Kelly has transitioned into being a broadcaster has been extraordinary too. And her show very successful. She's hosting the opening ceremony of the Olympics because she's such a big fan.
I know.
Hi, my name is Sadia Young. I'm calling from Philadelphia, PA, and I think it's awesome that Carrie Underwood is joining the panel. She's one of the biggest success stories that they've had, and she's also showing that she can manage all of that she has going on. That's awesome. I'm really proud of her.
I'm a big fan too. Okay, what else you guys want to talk about?
Tiffany from Atlanta, Georgia. I believe that this is great for Tom Cruise. He is such a good actor. He's done this stunt before, so I think he will do great in the Olympics.
You know, this whole thing about rappelling down into the stadium, it's very dicey. It's way more dangerous than just scaling down a wall. But he wants to do it, so we will see.
And for people just tuning in, he will be part of the closing ceremonies in both Paris and Los Angeles, broken by Harvey Levin.
No, broken by TMZ.
And TMZ.
One more.
Hi, this is Susan calling from Palm Springs, California, and I'm commenting on Cardi B and Offset. They've been on the rocks for so long. I think it's about time that they call it quits. And some couples are just better to be apart than they are together.
Did you hear that, Ben and J-Lo? Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, this is my favorite story of the day. Rihanna got dissed in the funniest way that you could possibly imagine, and boy, did she play along. This is awesome. Funniest story of the day.
Everybody needs to be humbled every once in a while, right?
Oh, this is so great. So there's a soccer match in New York City at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And there is a fancy schmancy suite that some big stars are in. Soccer star Rihanna.
Right.
And a 10-year-old kid.
Right, and so we're talking about soccer stars, including Christian Pulisic, who's the best player on the U.S. national team. They're in this fancy suite, and so this kid, who may or may not know Rihanna...
He does not know Rihanna. She hasn't produced an album during his lifetime.
Yeah, apparently...
She has no idea.
Here's what happened. So he wants a random stranger to take a picture of him with his favorite soccer players.
Has no idea who Rihanna is.
And he asks a global superstar to do it.
That is hysterical. This is better than if she took a picture with him.
And good for her. She goes down, working on the angle, focused on the lighting.
She got multiple pictures.
She really took that job seriously. So congrats to her on that.
I've loved her for so long, and this makes me love her even more. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing this.
This was so fun.
He's coming back tomorrow.
Let's do it again.